Welcome to NADA Live. My name is Jonathan Colleggio with NADA, and I'm here today, this morning with Tom Dahl, President and CEO of Subaru America. Thank you for joining us.
Jonathan, how are you? Good to be with you.
Doing really, really well. You know, dealers love Subaru. They love working with you guys. You call them retailers. Can you just talk about the importance of the retailer network to Subaru's business operations?
Well, our retailers are the lifeblood of our franchise. I mean, obviously, I tell this to our Japanese executives all the time and people in Cherry Hill that we don't really sell anything, right? We take credit for all the great sales, but it's the retailers that actually make those sales one by one to our customers every single day. And that's why they're so important to us. If we don't have our retailers on board with our policies and where we're going, in the longer run, we're not going to be successful.
And you take that really to heart. I mean, I've talked to dealers here at the NADA show who talk about how they receive text messages from you at 9 o'clock at night. I mean, this is something that's actually deeply ingrained in your culture.
It really is, because we're a smaller brand. Where we started small, we're not so small anymore. And so we really had to fight for everything that we deserved, that we thought we deserved to get. And as a result, when we do well, we want to celebrate that. And probably what those were referring to sometimes at the sales close, we have a great month. I'll text some of our retailers and tell them what a good job and how proud I am of them.
That's great. Now, next month, big event, National Business Council with Subaru. A lot of the retailers are going to be going there to see your new headquarters. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, every year we have something called our National Business Conference, and this year it's going to be held in Philadelphia. And by the way, the last time, Jonathan, it was held in Philadelphia was 2006, just as I got the job, to be honest with you. So I like to think that Philadelphia is the turning point for Subaru and our brand in the United States. And yeah, our new headquarters building is going to be, we're going to be showing off our new headquarters building. Our company's grown so much over the last 5 to 10 years that we're just bursting at the seams in our existing facility. So we've got to bring the company together. And also we have got a lot of older people in the company that are going to be retiring in the next 5 to 7 or 10 years. Mm-hmm. And we got to get these younger folks ingrained in our culture to get them to understand what it's really all about. Because as you know, this is a business that goes up and down. Yeah. It doesn't always go up like we've enjoyed the last 7 or 8 years.
Now, I'm so glad you brought up 2006. I mean, at the NADA Board of Directors meeting in Colorado, Jeff Carlson was our chairman, Subaru dealer in Western Colorado, and you came and spoke to the group, and you gave you told the story, the history of Subaru over those last 11 years. It's extraordinary. I mean, I thought that it should be required course content at Harvard Business School. Can you talk about how Subaru has transformed as a brand over the last 11 years?
Well, the first thing we had to do is to fix ourselves internally first. Before we could talk to our retailers about what we felt they needed to do, we needed to make sure that our house was in order. And so literally the first 90 days, I actually wrote this little booklet, Visions and Values booklet, that described really the type of person and the type of character of person that we wanted to have within our company. Because what I found out was, to be very honest with you, was there was a lot of areas within the company that didn't really like each other. For example, everybody hated the financial people, which is where I came from, which I didn't know that at the time. The salespeople hated the marketing people hated the salespeople, and we had to get rid of all that crap. Yeah. If we were going to be able to solve our problems as a brand, as a franchise, and then go to our retailers, we had to fix ourselves first. And then from there, we were able to go to our retailers and say, here's the new product plan, here's how we're going to go to market, we're going to do this strategic pricing thing, we're going to change the way we advertise. But then for our retailers, you have to change the way you sell. Because we couldn't be like everybody else selling based on the value, based on the deal. We had to sell based on the value that was inherent in a Subaru. And that's kind of the nutshell of the story that I told at the NADA meeting in Aspen a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was kind of funny there. I mean, the marketing, the love campaign, it's been extraordinary. But you did a yada 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 there in the middle. So how did you get from the naysayers within the company to that next level? Because that's the challenge. That's even a challenge at the retailer level. So what did the transformation look like when you what was that challenge like?
Well, I'm not going to say it was easy. Yeah. Right? And there were whole areas of our organization where we either had to reassign people or put them into different roles because the people that we had that were interfacing with our retailers, for example, they had to believe what we were trying to say because this was really where our philosophy was going. But it was hard, right? Because we had never tried it before. Mm-hmm. And so many people from Subaru America had come from somewhere else. And so their formative years were with other brands and other franchises who didn't sell this way. Yeah. And so it was hard for them to say, no, this is how we're going to go to market. This is how we're going to try to sell. And they say, well, we don't sell cars this way. That's not how you sell
You can't
cars.
do it this
You
way.
can't do it this way.
Yeah.
But guess what? We've proven that you can.
Now, one of the things that I love about the brand is that you talked about it. You're not giving information to the customer. You're giving them a value. You're giving them an emotion. Talk about the genesis of the Love campaign and how you made that decision.
Well, actually, what happened with the Love campaign, it was quite interesting. The idea for the Love campaign didn't come from us. The idea for the Love campaign actually came from our customers. We went out and we asked our customers, what is it that you like about your Subaru? And invariably, the number one response was, I love it. I love my Subaru. I love it, I love it, I love it. And so that's kind of how it started. I mean, the original idea really wasn't for love, it was for something else that makes a Subaru.
Yeah.
And then we decided that we would try it. And at the time, remember, this is 2006, 2007, and we had nothing to lose. And so we figured, well, if it doesn't work, we'll try it for a year and then we'll move on if it didn't. But it did work, and it galvanized, right? If you love the product, then you've got to love your retailer. You've got to love the people that are working at our call centers. They've got to love those customers. And it filters all the way down through the organization. Because that's really what that's the only thing that can differentiate us, really. The products, go walk the floor here. These products are world class.
Yeah.
We're up against world class products every single day.
Yeah.
But what differentiates us, we like to think anyway, is the treatment that those customers receive when they're at our retailers.
That's great.
And I give our retailers all the credit in the world for taking this and running with it. And doing a great job and representing our brand the right way.
That's amazing. My wife drove an Impreza, loved it. However, we had no place when our family grew. We had no place to move up. So another brand conquested us. Talk about the product that you have on the floor now and how you're trying to solve that problem.
Well, hopefully, Jonathan, we're going to have you back as a customer. What we have is the new 3-row SUV Ascent coming, which is our 7 or 8 passenger vehicle. You can get it the customer can get it in 2 seating configurations, either a 7-passenger version with 2 captain's chairs in the second row, or an 8-seat version with a bench seat in the second row. We're really excited about it because you're right. Unfortunately, our cars were perhaps a little bit too small, so as families grew beyond 1 or 2 children, customers had to graduate into something else. Yeah. Now we hope to get them back.
Now you have 630 dealers?
631.
631 dealers. And currently, I mean, you've just been on this uptick since 2006. You're not doing that through super aggressive sales incentives. Talk about how you're expanding your market share in the country right now.
Well, we try to sell our vehicles based on the value. I mean, when you look at all of the things that Subaru has, from crash test safety to consumer reports recommendations, we feel that the products are priced right, and we don't really have to go and offer huge incentives. The value package is already there, and so forth. And what we've tried to do too is be very judicious in how we add retailers. I think that's a key part of it too. We believe, our philosophy is we want our retailers to sell more per outlet and to be able to grow and sustain their growth. And in this market, I mean, to be honest with you, I think our goal is really to have the median Subaru retailer. So the median is half of the 630. So roughly 315 of those retailers selling at least 1,000 sales per outlet. And the reason is because at that level, they need that for cash flow and earnings purposes to be able to do the things that we're going to need them to do in the future to support our future growth. So it's really important for the sales per outlet to be able to grow. And I think that's one of the things we're most proud of over the years. We've been able to grow our sales per outlet from roughly about 300 sales per outlet to last year over 1,000 sales per outlet for the average Subaru retailer.
That's incredible. So in the market, I mean, the NADA's chief economist, Patrick Manzi, was up here. He sees a sales plateau. How do you keep expanding in a plateauing market?
We try not to worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't worry about what the market is going to be. All we can control is what we can control. And if we provide our customers with a great experience when they come in, and we provide products that are priced right and have a great value proposition for them, the rest hopefully will take care of itself.
That's amazing. One question I wanted to ask you, you can't go to an automotive conference these days without hearing about the convergence of electric, autonomous, and shared. You gave a very interesting speech at the LA Auto Conference about 4 months ago. What's Subaru's view, kind of in a nutshell, about how that's going to impact your company?
Well, sometimes I think when people refer to autonomous driving, they think it's right around the corner, and it's really pretty far out there, in my view. I think it was proven this past week with the accident that occurred, and the stopping of some of the development that was going on to make sure that the proper process. We can't go we can't run too fast with this because people's lives are at stake when it comes to it. So I think, you know, level 2, level 3 autonomous driving, quite possible, but the driver is still going to have to be in control of the vehicle. You cannot take your eyes off the road. You know, there's things that we can do to mitigate. Our goal is really, maybe in the future, should be no crashes, which is something that's quite possible with our eyesight technology and blind spot detection and a lot of the other technologies that are coming out in the vehicles.
So you have a lot of Subaru dealers here. You have a lot of us, you know, watching us online right now. You're going to have your make meeting a little bit later. What are you guys going to be talking about?
Well, the franchise meeting is up to them, right?
Yes.
It's really their meeting. So whatever they want to talk about, we'll talk about. So it's one of these questions when you're from a manufacturer standpoint. I always call it like stump the dummy. It's like, because you never know what questions you're going to be asked. So I don't know what. I guess they're probably talking about maybe a little bit about inventory, things like that. Probably interested in finding out more. I'll be learning from them what they think of the pricing for a new Ascent. We announced it a couple of weeks ago. I think it's great pricing, but I'll be interested to know what our retailers think of it.
We had some questions that I've heard. You know, what does Subaru do to increase production? I know you guys are kind of hitting maxes everywhere. Can you talk about that?
Well, right now we think we've got enough production for the U.S. market. We just expanded our production capacity at Subaru of Indiana Automotive, where we produce in the United States. We still have the production capacity over in Japan that we can draw from as well. So right now we have enough capacity to get us to our ultimate goal, which is about a 5% market share by 2021, 2022. So we're okay from that standpoint. Now beyond that, we may have to add production. Yeah, so we're hoping our franchise meeting is a love fest.
A love fest. You heard it here, Love Fest. Thank you so much for talking with us today. Thank you for joining NADA Live. Tom Dahl, everyone, CEO of Subaru Americas. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jonathan. Enjoy it.
Take care.